Chapter 19. The Man Who Counted Stars.
In a remote desert, far from villages and caravan roads, there lived a quiet man named Samir. His home was a modest stone hut, his possessions few. But every night, as darkness spread across the dunes, Samir emerged and stared at the sky. He counted stars, not for science, not for navigation, for devotion. Travelers laughed at him. They called him eccentric, a dreamer, a fool. Why count what cannot be counted, they asked. Samir only smiled, because the infinite reveals itself through consistency. Night after night, he counted. When he lost track, he began again. When clouds hid the sky, he simply waited. His practice was patient, unwavering. One evening, a young mathematician named Ezra arrived. He had heard stories of Samir, the mad star counter, and was curious. He sought proof, logic, reason. He believed all truth could be measured. He found Samir seated on a dune, gazing upward. "You cannot possibly finish this task," Ezra said. "The sky is infinite." Samir replied, "I do not count to finish. I count to remember." "Remember what?" Ezra challenged. "That the vast is intimate." Ezra scoffed. "That is poetic, not logical." Samir nodded. "Logic builds walls. Wonder opens doors." Ezra argued, "If your goal is not completion, your practice is meaningless." Samir responded, "Completion is a desire of the restless. Presence is the practice of the wise." Ezra sat beside him, partly annoyed, partly intrigued. "Then what do you gain from this?" Samir pointed to his chest. "I become spacious." Ezra frowned. "Explain." "When I first arrived here," Samir said, "the desert frightened me. The night overwhelmed me. I felt small. The stars mocked my insignificance. So I tried to conquer the sky by counting it. But the more I counted, the less it resisted. I learned that the stars are not beyond me. They are within me." Ezra shook his head. "That makes no sense." Samir smiled. "Only because you listen with your mind. Listen with your being." He offered Ezra a simple exercise. Choose one star, look at it, then hold it in your awareness without trying to name it or measure it. Simply receive. Ezra chose a bright star near the horizon. He stared. At first, his mind analyzed its brightness, its position, its possible size. But gradually, thought softened. The star became a presence, silent, steady. Ezra felt something unfamiliar, stillness. After a time, Samir spoke. "What did you see?" Ezra answered softly. "It felt alive." Samir nodded. "Everything responds when met with presence." He continued counting. Ezra watched in silence. He noticed Samir was not really focused on numbers. He was in communion. Ezra asked, "What happens when you lose count?" Samir replied, "Then I begin again." Beginning again is not failure, it is devotion. Ezra noticed his tally marks in the sand, constantly erased by the wind. "Your records vanish," he said. Samir shrugged. "The wind teaches release." Ezra stared at the sky again. "What do the stars tell you?" "That I am part of a pattern far greater than my ambitions. That existence is not linear. That time is spacious. That being is enough." Ezra fell silent after a long pause. He asked, "Did you ever wish for more than this? A bigger life? A legacy?" Samir replied, "Legacy is noise, presence is eternity." Ezra felt challenged. "But don't you want to achieve something?" Samir pointed to the stars. "I do. I achieve communion. Every night." He added, "You believe achievement is action, but true achievement is alignment." Ezra stayed with Samir for several nights. Each evening, they sat beneath the sky. Ezra learned to count, not with the mind, but with awareness, feeling the stars rather than tallying them. He began to sense that each star was a doorway into something immeasurable, something that could not be owned, only experienced. One night, Samir asked, "Why did you come here?" Ezra hesitated. "I thought I came to correct your thinking, but now I suspect I came because I feared the silence inside myself." Samir nodded. Most who chase knowledge run from stillness. Silence is the teacher many avoid because it speaks truth without argument. Ezra confessed, "I have always feared insignificance. If I cannot measure something, I feel powerless." Samir replied, "Power is not in measurement. Power is in intimacy. When you know something deeply, numbers are irrelevant." Ezra asked, "So you count to know deeply?" Samir laughed. "I count to surrender. The mind counts. The soul watches." He continued, "One night, I counted to remind myself that the infinite fits within a moment, that I can meet the endless without needing to conquer it." Ezra felt tears surprise him. He asked, "What did you discover after all these years?" Samir answered, "That the stars are not distant. They are reminders. Each one is a memory of what we are before we forget." Ezra remained silent, taking in the immensity of night. Eventually, Samir stood. "It is time." "For what?" "To stop counting." Ezra watched as Samir sat quietly, eyes closed. The stars glittered, countless and calm. Ezra whispered, "Why stop now?" Samir opened his eyes, gentle. "Because I have arrived. I no longer need to count what I already am." Ezra felt a shiver. "What are you?" Samir looked at the sky. A star that dreamed of being a man, and now remembers. Ezra did not know if Samir spoke metaphor or truth. It didn't matter. The statement felt real in a way logic could not touch. The next morning, Samir was gone. His hut stood empty. But each night after, Ezra returned to the dunes, not to count, but to remember. He learned that some people gaze at the stars and see distance. Some gaze and see origin. Some gaze and see themselves. The man who counted stars teaches that the infinite is not conquered through accumulation, but through surrender. That presence reveals what analysis cannot. That wonder is a doorway to truth. Most people seek meaning in what can be quantified, but the deepest meaning arises when the mind bows and the heart listens. The stars are mirrors, reflecting not the heavens, but the soul.
Chapter 20. The Forest That Listened.
There was once a forest so ancient that people believed it remembered every sound ever spoken beneath its branches. The elders said that if you listened closely, the trees could return your words to you, not as echoes, but as answers. Most dismiss this as myth, but those who were lost, wounded, or searching often found themselves drawn to its whispering paths. One such traveler was Mara, a woman burdened by a grief she could not name. Nothing was wrong in her life, yet something felt missing. Her days were full, but her spirit felt hollow. She sensed a truth buried beneath her emotions, but could not access it. Hearing the legend, she journeyed to the forest. At its edge, she hesitated. The trees rose like ancient sentinels, their trunks wide as memory. Their branches intertwined like thoughts. Shadows moved in gentle rhythm. The air hummed with quiet anticipation. She stepped inside. With each careful footstep, her senses sharpened. The scent of moss thickened. Birdsong slowed. The deeper she walked, the more silence gathered. Not absence of sound, but the presence of attention, as though the forest were listening. After hours, she reached a clearing with a single old oak, its roots knotted like a great hand holding the earth. Mara sat at its base and whispered, "I don't know what I'm looking for." The forest gave no reply. She waited. Leaves rustled. Wind shifted. Nothing profound happened.
Frustrated, she said louder, "Why am I empty?" Branches swayed. Still, no answer. She lay down, exhausted. "I thought you listened," she murmured.
A soft breeze brushed her cheek. Then, silence again. She closed her eyes. Somewhere between waking and sleep, she heard a faint sound. Her own voice, repeated softly, like a distant memory. "Why am I empty?" But the tone was different, gentler, curious. It startled her. She opened her eyes. The forest was still.
She sat up and whispered, "Because I don't know what I feel." The forest listened. A faint echo returned. "Don't know what I feel."
Mara frowned. "I feel numb." "Numb," the forest answered.
She hesitated. "I'm afraid that if I feel fully, everything will fall apart." Then, softly, "If I feel fully, everything will fall apart."
Mara realized the forest was not answering with new words. It was giving her back her own, allowing her to hear the truth without distortion.
She continued, voice trembling. "I've spent years holding myself together. I thought strength meant not breaking, the forest repeated.
Tears rose, and now I don't know who I am without the holding. Without the holding. It was as if the forest was peeling back her layers by simply returning her honesty. I don't want to be strong anymore. I want to be real." "Be real," the trees replied. Silence flooded in, thick, alive, compassionate. She cried, not from despair, but from relief. She realized she had never truly listened to herself. She had spoken her truth only to silence it immediately with judgment. The forest, by reflecting her words, made space for them to breathe. When her sobs softened, "What should I do?" This time, the forest was quiet. No echo. She asked again. Still silence. She wiped her eyes. "You only speak when I speak truth." As soon as she said it, a bird answered, a single clear note. Mara smiled weakly. She closed her eyes. "The truth is, I don't know what's next, and that scares me." The forest returned. "Scares me?"
She nodded. "I don't need answers. I just need honesty." The oak above her creaked gently, as if approving.
She stayed until nightfall. The forest never gave her a message, only her own truth, mirrored without judgment. That, she realized, was the answer. Before leaving, she placed her hand on the oak. "Thank you for listening," she whispered. A faint echo returned, listening. Back home, she practiced what the forest taught, speaking honestly, listening fully, not rushing to fix or justify, allowing feelings to exist. She discovered that truth does not need solving, only witnessing. That emptiness dissolves when honesty enters, that the heart does not need advice, only space. Over time, Mara found grief beneath her numbness, grief for parts of herself she had abandoned in her pursuit of strength. She welcomed them back. Slowly, fullness returned. Years later, someone asked what she learned in the forest. She answered, "I learned that the world responds when we speak truth. Not dramatic truth, not poetic truth, just honest truth. And when life seems silent, it is often because we are speaking in disguise." The forest that listened teaches a quiet lesson. Life is always mirroring us, but only honesty echoes. Most people ask questions their hearts are not present for. They speak from fear, not truth, from identity, not sincerity. The universe cannot respond to pretense. To be heard, you must first hear yourself.